Hey guys, Urban Combat Survivor here. I wanted to do a little video on raising food. I've been doing a hell of a lot of research on this. Those of us that are living in populated areas, particularly urban areas, which is where my videos, I know I've kind of strayed away from that a bit, but my videos are focused on urban survival. And one of the things that I've really done a lot of researching on is what kind of food items can you raise in a city? You have limited space, you have limited resources. What kind of I guess cattle can you raise to provide meat? You can only grow so much food in the ground, especially if your area is limited. And yeah, there's always the possibility of taking more, and of course that's always in the plan, to provide for having more land. But in the midterm to short term, what are your plans for raising some type of cattle? I've done a lot of looking into this, and I've done a lot of thinking about it, and so I'm going to share what I've come back with so far. The number one thing on my list is rabbits, and I'll tell you why. Every other animal that I can grow in the city, that I can raise in the city, one, requires a lot more room, and two, is noisy. When there are no more cars driving down the road, and there's no more stereos and televisions and iPods, the noise that your chickens are going to make, people are going to hear that. And if you can concentrate your chickens into the core of your safe zone, then people outside can't hear that. That's fine. But until you can establish that, any noise that's made by any critter you're raising is potentially gonna bring more threats to you when people get hungry, and they're gonna get hungry quick. Remember, most people only have enough food to last less than 1 week. So I was thinking rabbits. Yeah, they're cute, fluffy little bunnies, and I'm sorry if anybody has a problem with that, but I gotta eat. And rabbits, there are some decent breeds. There's actually a lot of decent breeds of rabbits that can be raised for meat. So that's an option. Other options are poultry, chickens, geese, ducks, that kind of thing. So if you've been gardening, I'm just throwing out the possibility that if you've thought that you can't make provision for meat, maybe rethink that, because there are some small animals, again, rabbits are a great example, that you can raise successfully, and that will provide plenty of meat. Now, what I'm trying to do is set up with the other people that I'm organizing with, that at least two others have at least one pair of breeding rabbits. That will provide a longer term sustainability where genetics are concerned. If I only have one breeding pair and that's it to provide food, certainly one breeding pair of rabbits, you can quickly get to the point where you're providing a fairly decent run of meat for a group of people, at least enough to keep their protein needs met. But what happens if one of those mating pair dies? You're kind of screwed. You don't really want to take one of the offspring, and use that in the mating pair, because now you have genetic problems. But if I were to take a male or female from one of the others that have different genetic stock, I could then perpetuate my line again. So just something to think about in an urban environment. There are some things that you can raise. Another thing that I'm really considering is a pigeon coop. It's something that I can put up on my back roof that requires fairly little maintenance relative to other animals that can be raised. And largely you can let them free run until a breakdown happens, and then of course you want to lock them in, because people are going to be eating the pigeons, man. But again, each mating pair of pigeons is going to produce a certain amount of offspring in a year. You can Google this stuff and pretty quickly come up with answers on this. Um, I've been trying to think of quiet things. I know a pigeon coop isn't exactly quiet, but pigeons in Philadelphia are also a very common sound. So I don't think it's something that'll stand out, at least not at first. And by the time it would stand out, I anticipate having a safe zone already established. So there's that. So for me, bunnies and pigeons. What's it for you? I know some people are looking at goats. Pygmy goats can be raised in the city. I've already mentioned a bunch of the poultry that can be raised in the city. Some people might want to consider, if you're okay with this, turtles, maybe, reptiles, a fish pond. Um, you're going to need protein. Uh, we're going to be doing a lot more wear and tear on our bodies if there's a breakdown. We're going to be doing a lot more physical labor. Even if you currently do physical labor, you're going to be doing a lot more of it in a different way if there's a breakdown. So you're going to need protein. You can't just live off plant matter. There's a reason vegetarians don't heal certain kinds of damage very well. The human body needs both meat and vegetation. So just something to consider if you haven't thought about it. If you guys have a suggestion or two on something that can be raised quietly in small amount of space in the city, toss it out there and throw it in the comments or throw me a PM. I'll make another video about it. So I hope it gave you something to think about. Urban Combat Survivor, signing off.